All right, I'm ready.
All right, sounds good.
All right. First of all, how are you doing?
Doing all right. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it really
It's
has
nice out.
been. I want to go outside, so hopefully we can just get this over with and agree to something quick. Enjoy the rest of the day. So, here's the thing that, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're suing us for bad antifreeze, essentially, correct? And the damage that it caused to your vehicles.
Yes.
I have a few questions about just your evaluation on everything and how you would like to go forward with this. The first of all was with your maintenance of your trucks.
Okay.
How often are you doing an overhaul of your trucks? How often is that? And then how would you describe taking care of your vehicles? How often do you check that there's something wrong with the vehicle, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, with our company,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our trucks are really like the cornerstone of what
Correct.
we
Yeah.
do.
So
So we have our own maintenance techs that, I mean, every day, I mean, like they're going through all the trucks. I mean, we have 150 heavy duty vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously to like try to get through 150 every day isn't feasible.
Yeah.
But I mean, they go through weekly, like routine inspections. We have our maintenance techs that will go through and like with this like antifreeze system or like issue, like we put in all those.
Hold on, I'm just gonna make sure it's focused. Sorry, this thing likes to freak out. You can keep going. Sorry.
But yeah, no, like so we go through all that. I mean, it's a pretty regular, system that we have in place, and the fleet manager himself, who really kind of like oversees all of that. I mean, he's had 30 years of experience in that field, so I mean, he's very good at his job. We're very pleased with the work that he does. As I mean, we've had him for a really long time, and I mean, we've been successful with these vehicles, and I mean, I don't think that, just if you're getting at, that we just like failed to
I was just
do
asking.
anything, but
I
no, I mean, to put this out there, I mean, once we realized like this was an issue, I mean, it only populated with the trucks that we had put like this specific antifreeze into, and to try to prevent further damage. I mean, we had all those trucks pulled off the line. Everything was drained. We bled all the systems and did a very thorough inspection of all the components, to try to make sure that further damage wasn't done.
So I'm seeing there's 21 vehicles that have the corrosion damage. Is that correct? Out of the 70 that you did?
So right now, yes, we're still going through some of the other trucks, and there's a couple that have not had like this had all of the components pulled out just yet and inspected the way that some of these other ones have. But we're getting ready to go through them.
Because I just see you're claiming the 49 at 5,000 apiece. Has there been really any? I know you've kind of, sort of answered, but I don't know for sure what you were saying. Just double checking. With those 49, have you done any sort of inspection on those vehicles? Have you really gone through? I know it's been 2 years since.
Yeah. So with those 49, right now that's what, in terms of like valuation of the vehicles, because this antifreeze was put into them, just because that went through, and there's the potential that there may have been some issue with the antifreeze, it's dropped the value.
Okay.
So it'd be like
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Say like you put diesel in a gasoline vehicle, but you don't run it. I mean, it's still going to bring the value down, even if you bleed it and you replace the parts, just because that's gone through, and they don't know long term, like what the effect might be on
But
the truck.
haven't you been using these 49 vehicles still? Like, they haven't been off the line for 2 whole years. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Those trucks, after we bled and we went through, yeah,
They're back on
they're
the
being
line.
used.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we can't afford to not use them.
No,
right now,
yeah,
but it's just
I understand.
with that though, the more that we use them, if there is any issue that was caused through that antifreeze going through any of the lines, that over time, leads to the like more significant corrosion that might be there.
Okay.
I mean, then it goes from the 21 complete overhauls to now we're gonna have to overhaul all those trucks.
Gotcha. Did you have any sort of like chemist or expert look at the
Yeah.
antifreeze? And what did he say?
So, well, first, I mean, based on the conversation that we had with the sales rep that came in, I mean, he was very confused as to why the color of the antifreeze was different.
We'll get to that too.
And so, once that happened, like we took some of that antifreeze, we saved it. We have our own analyst that we're waiting for him to do an analysis on, but we did send it out to a professional at Texaco.
Okay.
And so they're going through and running beyond what like our expert was going to do, and they're doing all sorts of different like diagnostic tests.
Has your expert said anything specifically about it? I know Texaco's going through it right now, but has your expert specifically said anything?
Our expert says that, I mean, based just upon like with the color and so far with like what he's done, he is under the impression, I guess I shouldn't say impression, in his expert opinion, I guess you could say, thinks that there is essentially oil that was mixed with the antifreeze, which is why that color changed from the blue to now green. And then typically, with antifreeze, like it shouldn't cause that issue, but once there's like a mixture, whether it's oil or some sort of like outside chemical that is mixed with it, it can basically speed up and cause these like corrosive effects that we've seen, being that the oil in particular, it acts with rubber fairly quickly. And so once the trucks are run and that engine gets hot, that's what's gonna cause like that significant corrosion right off the rip.
So I'm referring to my own expert here who's kind of run through this. We couldn't find any corrosive chemicals in the antifreeze samples that we received from your company. It is true that some oil and petroleum-based compounds can corrode the rubber, especially when the vehicle's heating up and all that. But from the evidence you guys have produced, we haven't seen any oil in the antifreeze samples we've gotten. And so, talking about the wrong product, from what our experts have been able to find, it's not that it's going to corrode, it's just not as durable as the samples that we were providing you.
Yeah.
Now,
So is he saying that that the antifreeze that we received was for the like essentially smaller engine vehicles?
Yeah. He didn't even say that. He just said it would not be as durable as the right kind in the long run, but it shouldn't damage any rubber or neoprene or anything like that. It shouldn't corrode anything. It's just not as durable as the quote unquote right stuff that you were supposed to receive. So from what I can tell, this has not really been something that's happened. This is a very unusual thing because there hasn't been other trucks that have suffered this damage. Like, this is a very unique kind of case, from what I can tell. Is there any sort of pushback you have on that statement? I saw you react a little bit. I'm just curious what you're...
I mean, I guess I can understand saying it's unique in the sense that maybe some of your other customers haven't experienced this, but at the same time, I don't know if I would understand maybe it was like one truck that, had some experience, and then I would chalk it up to maybe there being some issue with the vehicle itself. But I think when we have, 150 vehicles on our line that we use, that, I mean, we've done business for
Mhm.
quite a while now. I know we're both like family-run operations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things where we felt very comfortable with you guys, and I just don't think that we put 70. We purchased some of your antifreeze this go around, and now all of a sudden, there's this like corrosion in 21 trucks immediately after, it goes down. Because like I said, there hadn't been any issues prior to. Like I said, we've done all of the maintenance, and kept up with all of that, and then just a couple days after putting the antifreeze, it's not like it's just like lines in the vehicle. It's the actual like radiator lines.
Well, it's just
lines, so.
the only reason that I'm bringing that up is it's interesting that it's one specific company, because what we're seeing is kind of, if we were to bring this to court, as I think both of us would like to just get this over with anyway, I feel like our case is pretty strong on causation, that we can kind of show that like we've been selling these products to other trucks, other companies. They haven't had this issue. This is a very unique issue. There could be granted, I understand it is specifically the radiator, but because we have kind of that expert who's saying there's no real corrosive chemicals, even the wrong product would not be enough to be corrosive, and it's just your company. There could be a bunch of other causes that might be able to have caused this incident. That is not to say that we aren't willing to settle on anything. We just don't think that we should be held responsible, especially for those extra $49 and for the full cost of the $210,000, because we think that when we're looking at, from what we've heard, what our client tells us is that you guys are really running your trucks to the ground, and they were needing that overhaul sooner or later. And we averaged that we thought the truck would be about halfway due for the next overhaul anyway. So we're looking to say, like, I think we could get off on $90,000 and be okay with that, because we think that covers the cost of about half of your overhauls in the trucks. We don't take on the stigma of the perfectly working 49 trucks that are still fine in operation, and we don't have to worry about legal fees either way. We can just kind of walk away, and you can get the money to fix up the ones that are actually broken.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think honestly we've kind of undersold like what is like the damages that we're looking at here, because obviously like with this, like we're just trying to get the trucks that have been affected fixed, right?
Yeah.
I think something that's not taken into account that we have kind of been willing to just push aside is, the damages in terms of like the business that we've lost from this. And, I understand what your expert's saying and how, he couldn't find corrosiveness in that sample. But again, I think based upon, and like I said, we're waiting on Texaco to get back, but right now there is some evidence pushing that there was some oil in the sample that we received. And, with that, it's like, I mean, what's the process that you guys go through for, getting this antifreeze?
For getting the antifreeze?
Yeah, I mean, how you guys, like, just in terms of, because, I mean, I'm assuming you guys don't brew this stuff yourself, that, you have, like, a larger distributor that comes in and gets it, or you buy it second hand and then sell it, just given the area that we're in.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fairly accurate assumption that, like, this is not, I mean, so it's, from the facts, it's kind of unclear, but from what I can tell, that seems to be a somewhat truth. I think that's pretty decently accurate
Yeah.
assumption to make.
And so, I mean, not saying that, this is like some sort of like willful misconduct or anything like that, but I just think it's one of those things that, we may have gotten a batch that did contain oil contaminants, and
But
that's where we're at. And I understand, your expert is saying.
But the samples we got were from the ones you gave us. It's not that
So
you're testing a separate.
The samples that we gave you was not. We didn't give you samples of the antifreeze itself. We turned over to your expert the. How is it like some of the parts?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to say that there's not like you're testing the parts that were just drained and flushed that we pulled out. The actual samples are being tested right now by Texaco.
Yes.
And so, really, until that test comes back, as like that's going to be what confirms.
But you don't have a causation issue until then, because the only thing that you guys have is you suggested that since nothing has really happened like this before, and it's like unusual, and it was.
No, it's not that. We put your antifreeze into our radiator, and 2 days later, all of it was leaked out onto the floor because it had burned holes in our cooling lines.
But we don't know. You keep saying like, oh, there's oil. Like we don't. Again, we haven't been provided any evidence of oil in the antifreeze, even like at all.
I am saying that regardless, like I shouldn't say regardless.
No, you're good.
That we have a shipment of antifreeze that comes in. We put it into our radiators.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, when the trucks are getting ready to go off the line, all of that antifreeze is now on the ground because it corroded the cooling lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no evidence based on all of the other vehicles that we have that there was some other reasons for the corrosion other than the antifreeze.
Right, but that's what the trial is for, and I think,
And I mean,
because we still haven't really gone through a discovery process and like done an investigation on the truck. I think too, we haven't really had, from what I can tell, any issues with other trucking companies before, and if you're worried about reputation, I think if there's evidence of you running your trucks into the ground and running your trucks and like. If there's issues of caring for the trucks, those are going to come out at the trial, and that's the perception we have gotten from a client or two is they come in and they say that you guys have been. Let me find a thing again. Sorry.
no, yeah, we definitely run our trucks. I mean, it's business, but like I said, like we do all the proper maintenance for it, and I think the same can be said for your company. I mean, we've heard from quite a few people that the areas in which where you get your antifreeze from is recycled from other locations throughout the state. And so, I mean, I would say there is just as much a chance that, one of these people that you got the antifreeze from to then sell to your clients contains chemicals in it or contains oil. So, I mean, I agree. I don't think that a trial is, ideal for either of us. I mean, we're small family-owned companies, but at the same time, I don't think that $90,000 is.
What would be
suitable
appropriate then?
I mean, I can understand your concern with the impaired market value. And obviously, like what we have written here, like the legal interest with the 2 years, I would say I think it would be fair to us, and I think would be a good deal to you. We could waive the impaired market value of the other 49 trucks, because I understand where you're coming at there. But I can't budge on the overhaul for the trucks. But I can work more with, so like right now I'm looking at like 320K,
320.
but I'm definitely willing to work along like that legal interest route.
Okay.
And cut that down. Because I mean, I know you've probably undergone the same in terms of,
Yeah.
attorney's fees and whatnot. So
I think it just evens out if we take out attorney's fees for both sides. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if we're worried about reputational damage, then obviously a trial, not ideal, probably. But I think, here's the thing. I think for us, I don't think legal fees should be something. I mean, we're both, like you were saying, small family-owned companies. We're responsible for hiring our own attorneys and stuff like that. I think imposing $100,000 burden on our company, it puts us in a really difficult financial spot that I don't think we're really able to work with. Additionally, we know kind of with the working your trucks into the ground, we think there might have been other things that, they would have had to go for an overhaul anyway. It's just the fact that this incident happened kind of sped up a process where they would need an overhaul. That being said, I think we could do probably 150,000. I know that's a little off from your 320, but I think 150, it does account for at least over half of that overhaul, because we know that a lot of those trucks are probably in need of an overhaul very soon. We want to give you the opportunity that you would have some funds to be able to do that, but I think attorney's fees, I think we should just both handle on our own, as like that's imposing too much of a financial burden on both of us. So we're basically, what I'm proposing is we basically drop that 210 down to a 150 and then drop every other kind of filing or cost measure.
I think I can get on board with the legal interest,
Okay.
with the attorney's fees. Again, I mean, the overhaul is the big thing.
Yeah.
Because well, yes, like we do work our trucks, at the same time, like some of these vehicles were not due for an overhaul, and even then, with the other 49 trucks that might.
But here's the thing. Some of them were though. It's
No. And
that's
I
the
get
thing
that,
too.
But now the thing is though is, we also have, like I said, like we'll waive the impaired market value, but we still don't know the long-term effect on those other 49 trucks. And right now we're looking at we're out at a minimum right now of 250K. Not just with the overall, but with additional inspections that we're having to do with the trucks. And then,
but
we've
had to kind of take that own burden too, because we've had to hire an expert. So like this has not been. I understand that what you're saying,
but
like I 100%
that's going on
do.
both sides.
Correct.
With experts. So,
that's what I'm saying. Is I think like those costs, if that investigation cost, I don't really think we should both account for it, because we're both going to accrue that cost. To say like, well, we've been put in a desperate financial situation because we've had to put in get experts and investigation and stuff. It's not a one-sided endeavor here. I mean, this is costly for us too.
No, I get that. I mean, we've cut. I mean, again, like turning back to the overhaul, I think we've gone from what we've put in our claim of $565,000, and we weren't asking for the damages, like the business damages that we incurred there. I mean, we've cut off $355,000
Yeah.
from that amount, and I mean, I think we gotta get, for us to feel anywhere comfortable with like a settlement for this, I mean, we have to be somewhere at least close to
That 210.
the 210.
Okay, I think that's completely understandable where you're coming from. The only thing that concerns us is we don't want to overpay for an overhaul where we still don't have that definite causation. We understand that it was the trucks affected by the antifreeze, but we also know specifically like this, kind of the stigma of the company and maybe how you guys do run the trucks. So our thing here is I think that is completely fair ask. What I would ask them is maybe we can meet at like a 180. I think that meets in the middle of that 150, 210. I think that pretty much covers your extra overhaul. I know that it's not that 210 number you want, but we also know too that it's not $10,000, it's $9,800 per overhaul. So you're overselling that overhaul a little bit to get that nice round number.
It's not so much selling the overall number. It's more so just, I'm thinking of it in terms of, well, yes, we're cutting out the impaired market value and the legal interest. I'm thinking of it more in terms of, really, we're just cutting everything down across the board.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I see
so,
what you're saying.
I mean, if we were at the 210, like, that's not everything going for the overhaul. I mean, I'm factoring in additional parts that we've had to pull in for the other 49 trucks, the cost of us to bleed the systems and to put new antifreeze in. I mean, I think, you know, we're taking a hit in terms of the amount of work that we're having to put into these trucks. And while, yes, I understand the argument of, you know, we were gonna have to overhaul some of these vehicles anyways, I think, you know, overhauling, let's say, of the 150, if this year, you know, we were planning on probably overhauling around 20 trucks, and it's not those 21 trucks, it's 20 out of the 150, you know. Factoring now, we have a set 21 trucks that needed overhaul right now. We'll have some more that have to come on down the line, and then with the additional 49 trucks having to replace some of the parts, I just think that 210, while yes, it's like for the overhaul of the 21 trucks, like it covers that, it more so helps us spread out our budget to
Yeah,
where.
I think that's fair. How about kind of leaving, I think this is the highest we really can go, is 195. I mean, I know that's not that 210, but again, I think that gets us in the range where like all the overhauls specifically, even if it's partial because they were almost there or a complete redone, I think it really does cover those eventual costs. It gets those trucks back running on the road. You don't have to worry about I know you kind of already got the cost of it, but now you're getting workable money to recoup, because I know you guys are not necessarily in a great financial position to really, you have to get money now just to like keep your company going, because I know this is bleeding you. I think 195, I know it's a little short, but I think it's more than fair. It gets you guys on the ground, it gets you going, it gets you kind of those costs recouped of doing all this business. I think that's a good deal we can take.
I mean, could we meet right at 200 flat? We'll drop down a little bit from the complete overall.
I think that's fair. We can do 200. Let's do that.
Okay.
Sound good?
Deal.
All right. So let's write up this agreement on camera, and then we will be ready to go. Okay. So I'll just write it out for us, and I'll say the terms out loud. You are more than happy. I meant to say this in there. We would like to obviously kind of keep this, I think, for both of our sakes.
So you're asking for an NDA?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, I think NDA would be good for us. Sorry, I meant to specifically say that, and I completely spaced it. Okay. So Sorry, I'm trying to make this look like formal and stuff because I wanted to settlement agreement. Okay. So, how quick do you need this cash? Is there a specific kind of timeline you're expecting this? I guess we should have negotiated.
How quickly could you get it over?
Can we do like over a month's time? Is that okay? If you need it in like 3 weeks, we can do that. Probably 21 days.
How much could we get
Right now,
right now?
we could probably do half right now, or we can get you that 100K right now, and then over the next 21 days, do payments to get you that next 100K.
It's fine.
So we will do that.
That works.
Sorry, this is just, I want to make sure this is good to go. And I'll have you can obviously read over this agreement before we go, just to make sure it's all good and it's to your liking when we turn it in. Okay. Clause 1, plaintiff or defendant will pay plaintiff a total of $200,000. $100,000 will be paid immediately, and the next 100,000 will be paid over a period of 21 days? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Clause 2, each party, this we discussed the legal fees, will bear the cost of their own legal fees.
Yeah.
Fees. Clause 3, the terms of this agreement are to be confidential except as required by law. Seem fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Clause 4. This resolves all claims you have against us per this matter.
Mm-hmm.
This, sorry, I just want to make sure we got everything on here. Between defendant solves all claims arising conflict. Clause 5. This is basically, we're gonna say, is it okay if we're like defendant claims no wrongdoing? Just put that in the agreement that we're not claiming, we're paying you, but we're not claiming to have done anything wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Doing.
We can't talk about it anyway.
Yeah, that's
so
what I was gonna
it
say.
doesn't
It's
matter.
confidential, so it doesn't matter. And then, so I'm gonna write one more thing that this is like the entire agreement. Just,
Yeah.
This agreement constitutes the entire agreement between parties. All right. Read over that, sign if you're good. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Perfect. I'll sign
Done
it.
deal.
Awesome. Well, I gotta put my signature on it first, but then we're good. Great. That's it.
Huzzah.
We have settled it. All right. I will send this video to him and take a picture just in case.